Hey guys, how you doing? SquanU007, and it's been a long time coming, and I'm here to do another Cemu video, and to go ahead and fix the issues of the last video. There are some things that I didn't cover in the last video that I am going to cover now. So I'm hoping that everything can go as smooth as planned this time around instead of last time. And it's actually a perfect time to start doing the Cemu videos and start playing Cemu because, as a lot of people might know, NVIDIA has just did their driver updates and Cemu is part of that update, which is a good thing. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So I've already got certain folders already out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open up our browser, go to Google, of course, and type in Cemu, C-E-M-U, and it should automatically take you to either one of these pages or a search link where you can go ahead and go to Cemu. You'll be on the home page and you'll see the Cemu Wii U emulator. This also has the system requirements that is needed: Windows 7 and above, of course, 64. OpenGL. Every Windows should have OpenGL. If not, I have no clue why you don't. Possibly something you need to talk to your manufacturers. But if you are your manufacturer, OME Life, then you automatically should have OpenGL anyway. RAM between 4 and 8. I will also recommend 16. 16 gigs of RAM, which last year was pretty cheap. This year probably will run you about $100, but it's not really that big of a deal. I'm pretty sure you can get it. It just depends on where you're at and if you can catch the best deals. Amazon is your friend. Make sure to always go to Amazon. Graphic cards that you probably would need, of course, AMD and NVIDIA are recommended. Intel GPUs, the onboard Intel GPUs, not really a good thing. I hear that you can go ahead and play with them, but not too much of a good thing when you think about it. So I'm going to say no to Intel GPUs and yes to NVIDIA and AMD. Right now, currently, NVIDIA, of course, is the best because it's basically more focused on. AMD, I'm hearing good things. I'm just not an AMD person. I don't have an AMD graphics card. Other people in the comments should be able to tell you, or you can search it up on Google if need be. And further down, you're just going to see what the release is, controller input, which is compatible now, and performance and uses. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the latest Cemu, and then you're going to download, which was a perfectly good 2 megabytes. I'm going to, because I hate this little extra screen, I'm going to take that off, shrink my window, and wherever you have your downloads is, some people put it on their desktop. I only put videos on my desktop for obvious reasons, of course, but for my downloads, I usually keep them in the download folder. So we're going to take out Cemu 10. Yes. Actually, I guess I forgot I even freaking downloaded it, but whatever. All right. After that, we're going to go ahead and open Cemu 10. We can extract it here to the desktop. It's just going to give me a folder. There it is. You can put the zip somewhere you want, just in case. And now we're going to do one of the meat and potatoes. So right now, if you're looking at Cemu and you're a new user, do not get scared off by this. Don't worry about it. Open up Cemu. It should be blank. That's natural. Don't worry about it. That just means that it is working. All right. Now this is the part where the older Cemu people might want to pay attention. So grab your older Cemu, which is 1.9. Open it. All right. Now what you want to do is you want to take all your folders, which includes your shared fonts, your shader cache, everything. Everything. You want to take everything here, and what you want to do is copy. I'm not a big fan of just moving folders over, so copy it, go to your next folder, and Control V or paste. Now this is going to take some time. So as we're taking time, we're going to go through, as this is copying over, we're going to go through exactly what you're going to need for future installments for Cemu. So I'm going to have links in the description for all of these things. The next thing you're going to want to pick up is Cemu Hook, and you're going to want to get the current version, which is 0.55, well, 0.5.5.0 or 1.8.1, and is for the 110 version of Cemu, which is at the back end. Pick it up, download it. I'm not going to download it right now because I've already picked it up. The next thing you're going to want to do while you're here is pick up MapleSeed. Now I'm going to put a disclaimer because I don't think a lot of people are talking about this. MapleSeed 2.1.1.17 is kind of busted. I don't know what's going on with it. It's being looked at. As you can see, it was just released 3 days ago. Here's the issue that we're going to have with it. MapleSeed is currently going through changes, and I don't know why it's going through so many changes. It doesn't make sense to me, but the changes itself isn't really life-breaking. What it's doing though is once you're applying patches, it's kind of screwing the patches up. It's not placing them the right way. But for future reference, go ahead and download MapleSeed 2 just in case, and MapleSeed 1. And we have a reason why we're downloading MapleSeed 2 and MapleSeed 1. So don't worry about it. I'll explain it to you a little bit later. But everything you're going to do is you're going to do it through MapleSeed 1. So most definitely you're going to be doing everything, including picking up Breath of the Wild. So the next thing we're going to want after that is, and I'm going to put this this in the description, a new optimized graphics pack. Of course, this is going to work definitely with our drivers, of course, and it is going to enhance the game where we're going to be able to run it at higher frames. We're going to be able to have less hitching in the game. A lot of people are talking about, oh, we can run at 60 frames per second now, and I'm looking at that as, that's great. I just want to make sure that the memory is not complete shit. Of course, with the NVIDIA driver, it's supposed to only use half of our memory now. So the actual memory fix I applied in the last, just want to check something. All right. The actual memory fix I applied in the last video, I'm going to end up taking that off because I don't want it to overlap per se. But if I find that it's working better without, or excuse me, if it's working better with the memory fix on, I'm going to keep it on. But all bets are off right now, so don't worry about it. I say keep it on until I come up with a video, or we find out today in this video if we can just go ahead and take it off. So let's go ahead and check on our download, and doesn't look like it's really moving that much. But now that you have all of these downloads, or excuse me, move overs, but and now that we have all of the downloads done, we can go ahead and shrink this. And if you're an old Cemu user like me, then yeah, you're gonna have a lot to move over from one to the other, and that just comes with the territory, so I really wouldn't worry about that much. While this is happening, you can go ahead and start making custom folders if you want, new unzip folders where you can go and start unzipping some of your files that you downloaded already. You can also make if you're new, you should also make a games folder like Cemu Games or wherever you're getting your games from. If you're ripping them directly from the disk like a lot of us are, then sure, you can go ahead and just rip it from the disk and put them into the games folder, which they already would have the key attached to them, so you wouldn't really have to have a problem with that. A MapleSeed folder. As soon as you're done with MapleSeed, you can go ahead and have a MapleSeed folder ready and just place both of them in there. And of course, make sure you have a new graphics pack folder so you can go ahead and add your new graphics packs in. And these are all new graphics packs that are optimized for the update. So don't worry about it. A lot of the old graphics packs, they will still work, but there is a lot of artifacting in Breath of the Wild, especially in the desert area. And actually, some of them is in Kuriko Village. No, wrong village. The village where Impa is. You can see it. There's a lot of like weird pixelated craziness in there, and I didn't understand that. And of course, your shader cache. Now I'm going to go ahead and have a link to the shader cache. I'm just not going to put it up right now. And you can go ahead and pick up the link from the shader cache itself, and I'll teach you how to go ahead and switch over your shader caches if you didn't pay attention to the last video. Alright, 41%. Alright, so now that I'm literally got done assembling everything, and now I'm just waiting on this long ass fucking download, and we're not going to speed this up because we want to do this in real time so everybody gets a little bit of the hang of what this feels like in real time. The only thing that I will not do in real time is I will not download Breath of the Wild in real time, because that would take a little bit longer. However, what I am going to do is I am going to download both the patch and the DLC. But I am going to show you that once you get ready for the, I'm doing air quotes, get ready for the game itself, how you're going to apply it to the folder that you want to apply it to. So I guess I have a little bit of time, so we can go ahead and start talking. I'm about to go sit on my bed. We can actually start talking about other things, such as the kerfuffle, which is Shadow of War. So Middle-earth Shadow of War has released, and I do have it, and it is a great game. And contrary to what a lot of fanboys would tell you who loved Shadow of Mordor, and I am one of those fanboys who did love Shadow of Mordor, it feels a little bit like more of the same, and I know it's hard to build upon a system such as the Nemesis system, and I'm hoping, because I'm not at the point yet, I'm hoping that the raiding system, because you're supposed to make these big orc raiding parties, basically making an army. I'm hoping that that can top it. I don't know. I haven't experienced it yet. But from a couple of my friends on PS4, they're telling me that it's awesome. And I want to go ahead and see about doing that a little bit later. But the elephant in the room isn't the rating system or anything else. And the elephant in the room isn't the fact that a lot of the gameplay is similar, if not completely the same. Which is fine, because I play Dynasty Warriors, and that's similar and completely the fucking same until they start doing stupid shit like trying to change button configurations. Or that debacle, which was fucking Dynasty Warriors 7, which was you're able to do everything with one fucking button, which made no damn sense. But, no, the elephant in the room is the microtransactions that Warner Brothers has put into place. And all I have to say is it's horrible that they did this. It's horrible that they decided to go ahead and put those microtransactions in. There really isn't a reason to do it. And I haven't, of course, I haven't bought anything because I can't buy anything. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But it's still there in front of your face. And a lot of people will say, well, I didn't realize there was a marketplace or microtransactions. Who's ever saying that is a goddamn lie. They're lying to your face. When you go ahead and you click on Shadow of Mordor, you see new game, online market, options, and I can't believe I think something else. I think it's like a WB key or some shit for your actual online ID. So whoever is saying this on any video is lying through their fucking teeth. They're not showing you the actual menu. Of course, the menu expands the further you play as well, which is kind of cool. I do like that. Currently, of course, I have a 1060, and yes, we want to replace all of those files. And no, we're going to go ahead and skip a lot of those pictures because a lot of those pictures will stop you. So it was a fix that we had to give permission to Cemu for the pictures to be actually be casted right on the the picto box thing. But now I'm hoping they fix that in this Cemu. I'm hoping. I'm not sure though. But yeah, it's horrible the way they're trying to just push this off as microtransactions aren't really helping the game when the microtransactions are loot boxes full of orcs that you would need for your army. So how the fuck does that work? That doesn't make sense. And anybody who's defending it doesn't make sense. It's just fucking weird. Anyway, now let's go sit back in front of my screen. And here we go. So now that everything is properly copied over, and this, we'll hold on to it. We don't need it right now. Cemu 1.9, we'll just put that over there. And we got Cemu 1.10. All right, the first thing you want to do is apply Cemu hook to your Cemu. So take your Cemu hook that you downloaded and extract it here. Yep, and yes, you want to go ahead and say yes to all. There you go. Now you have your log. You're going to also have a crash log. You have your keys, and you have your keys DLL. Once that's done, take your Cemu hook, place that anywhere you want to. All right. All right, let's see. Right now I'm going to turn on my controller. And we're going to go ahead and head into Cemu for the first time. All right. Now, this is the first time with all of the Cemu hook and everything that you can go ahead and start customizing it properly. So the first things you want to do is, if you're an old Cemu user, not a new one, first thing you want to do is you want to go in and go to experimental, click the Breath of the Wild crash workaround off. Very important to do that. Now, click on full sync. Now that depends on your actual hardware. I'm running an i5 with the 1060, so I really shouldn't have an issue. But if I do, it can be mitigated. If it appears that one is struggling versus the other, I will just go into experiment and click full sync off. But I really shouldn't have that big of an issue. Hopefully. From what I can see, it looks like they're implemented the motion controller. So I'll go ahead and put my implementation in. But you can always use default if need be. If not, don't worry about it. Next thing is input settings. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead, pick up your controller, and I'm grabbing my Wii U controller. Pick up your PS4 controller or Xbox 360 controller, whichever one you want to use. Now, you're not going to usually see this. You're going to see this on the side instead. But everything was copied over, so I don't know exactly how much was copied over, but we're going to go ahead and take a look and see. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go in. You're going to pick which pad you want. Obviously, you want Wii U pad. So go ahead and go with the Wii U gamepad. You're going to go to direct input for PS4. X input for Xbox 360 and Xbox One controllers. Now, if you have a PS4 controller and you click on the controller and it says controller Xbox 360 for Windows, don't be alarmed. Click on it, say yes. For Xbox One and 360 owners, you should be fine. It's going to say the same thing for you. All right, now that that's there, what you want to do is you want to go through each button and you're going to label each button according to what it is for your gamepad. So what we're going to do, and I'm looking directly at the other pad, and I'm just going to go through buttons versus PlayStation 4 buttons. Sorry, Xbox, I don't have an Xbox gamepad on me because I don't play Xbox, but whatever. So what we're going to do is go through it now. So A would be circle, B would be cross or X, whichever one you call. I'm going to call it cross. X would be triangle. Y would be square. L would be the L button. R would be the right button. ZL would be left trigger. ZR would be right trigger. Plus would be options. Minus would be share. Now, these buttons on this side is just your analog sticks, and I don't know why the fuck it took me so long to say that. So L click is basically clicking in your button. So left click, left up, left down, left left, left right, right click, right up, right down, right left, right right. Now for the D-pads. D-pad is D-pad up, D-pad down, D-pad left, D-pad right, and mic blow. I've never had to use mic blow. I don't think I have a game that uses mic blow, but that could come in handy. I'm not sure. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at this and we're going to just click on a name or make a name. It doesn't matter which one you want to use. I'm using this as a primary controller, and click save, and there you go. You've just saved your controller settings. So anytime you want to use your controller settings, you can always just click the drop down button, click on it, click load, and you should be fine. Now, there have been people who wanted to use dead zones for their analog sticks, and I find that using them around 10 might be good, but we're going to keep it at 30. And to everybody has a different feel for their dead zones, just like everybody has a different speed for their mouse. So there you go. Me, I like to keep mine on second speed for my mouse because I like fast action for it. And I like to keep my dead zones pretty centered. So, all right. And as that is it, we're going to go ahead and click off. And we're going to go into options and do a little bit of some basic things that probably need to be did. For console language, keep it on English. For console region, always keep it on auto, just in case you do use any other game aside from US or European games. Experimental, we already went through that. Input, we went through that. Audio, I usually play with headphones on, but for those who want to hear it louder, pick whichever volume setting you want and close. Separate gamepad view, don't know, not using that. Buffer, so for the GPU buffer, you want to set it at low and fast. For full screen, you're going to keep ratio. For upscale, you're going to go with bilinear. For graphics packs, we haven't talked about that yet. Do not enable VSync. Do not enable full screen yet. There's no reason for you to do so. And that is it. So what we're going to do is we're going to get out of there. And now we're going to do the game packs itself. Now, of course, I have a lot of game packs in here already for certain games. But what you want to do is you're going to go take your unzip folder, take your Breath of the Wild, or excuse me, your new game, excuse me, graphics packs. Why am I saying game packs? Your new graphics packs. And it should, and I know I didn't show it. There it is. It should be in a file like this. And I will have, again, the description below. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and put it in here. You're going to extract here. And once you're done with that, just put it somewhere where you can use it again, just in case you don't want every graphics pack that is in here. Just like I don't. I don't want every fucking graphics pack in here. So the graphics packs in here versus the graphics packs of old are now modified to work or run better with the new Cemu and the system itself. So don't worry about it. Just go ahead and pick them up. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Breath of the Wild. And there it is. We're going to pick up everything here, which includes some of the new things such as the frames per second plus, smoke, and the switch view, which actually makes it like how it is on the Switch. Copy. Go over to your graphics packs in your Cemu, your new Cemu. Control V or paste. Replace everything. And now everything is completely done. Now there are some things that are not, that didn't need to be redid, such as the AA remover, the adjust and bloom, of course, the contrasty, of course, high res shadows, and the null check, which you're going to basically put on there anyway. Breath of the Wild Pro Plus, I didn't use it before, but whatever. And because I have other games on here, such as Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, I'm going to take some time out and go down to the bottom and pick them up now. But you can do this with any game you pick up, such as Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. Just go, you copy, you paste over. And I think that should be it for me right now. Now you can keep this folder if you want, or you can go ahead and pitch it. I would just keep it just in case you pick up something like Bayonetta or Mario Kart Racing, just in case you want to experiment with other games. It's always good to experiment with other games. If one game doesn't work on Cemu, always make sure to try another game to make sure it's not actually Cemu that's messing up, and it's actually the game itself. But now that we have all of our there's some sample patches right there. But now that we have all of our graphics packs that we need, we're going to go ahead and back out, go back into Cemu, go back into options, go to graphics packs. So now that you have them just in your folders, you can actually now see them separately. So all you would need to do is go and click on the ones you want. So I'm going to go with no anti-aliasing. I'm going to go with 1080p because that's the benchmark. In reality, with the new patch, if you can run 4K, run 4K. It shouldn't be that much of an impact on your hardware. But again, this is for benchmarks, just in case you have something that's running a 750 Ti as well. So we're going to go with 1080p, and we're going to go with just realized there's two no to anti-aliasings. I'm going to use mine first. We're going to go with contrasty, frames plus plus, because that's new. I want to see how that works. We're going to go with high quality shadows. We're also going to go with the crash workaround, and no, I don't need bomb arrow smoke. I don't need reflect extras, enhanced reflections. I could, but I don't really think I need it. Let's see, is there anything else? Nope, I think that is it. I might play around with 1440p just to see what it looks like a little bit later. But that should be it. And once you set your graphics packs, you should be good to go if you are a returned Cemu user. Now, if you're not a returned Cemu user, continue watching, and we can go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of what you want to know on how to get the game and how to actually update your game. Also, if you're also a returned Cemu user, if you want to know how to update your game, which you probably should already know this by now, but if you don't, stay tuned. So now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and click this off. We're going to go ahead and click Cemu off. And now we're going to open... Oh, well, I also forgot a very important thing, but now we're going to go open MapleSeed. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to go to MapleSeed 2. You're not really going to use MapleSeed 2, but you're just going to go there first. Now you can go ahead and click and make sure that these are working correctly. Click on Control Panel. Now, it shouldn't automatically, no matter what MapleSeed you're using, it shouldn't automatically give you an option of where your games are going to be stored, which is the top bar right here, and where your Cemu directory is. Once you officially start it, it should actually give you options to where the directory is and then where your games are. But for some reason, it's automatically doing this from mine, even though these are new MapleSeeds and I just downloaded them. But go ahead and type these in if you need to. Go into your Cemu games. Copy the directory, or copy the directory that way. And then once you copy it, you just paste it in, Control V, or paste it into the top part, and you will do the exact same thing for your Cemu Oh, there it is. Put it over here. You just copy as such, and you should be fine. And just basically paste it in. Give it a few minutes. It should go ahead and click in. Sometimes MapleSeed 2 conks out, and that's the reason why we're not using MapleSeed 2 as primary. We're just using it as a way for your games to have a directory. So MapleSeed will just go over to MapleSeed 1 and help out. So now that we're done with this, also make sure to put on dynamic theme so you can see which games it's highlighting. It might be hard to see, but yeah, they often change. Now, that's done. So what we want to do now is we're going to go into Cemu 10. We're going to open up game profiles. We're going to go back into the MapleSeed folder. We're going to go to MapleSeed 1. We're going to run it. Now what it's going to do is going to take everything it learned from MapleSeed 2, and there you go. Now if this doesn't happen, I'm going to click this off. If this doesn't happen for some reason, and there shouldn't be a reason why it doesn't, you can always go into settings, apply your directory, which is the directory of where you would have your Cemu games at, and then you can apply your Cemu directory, which is directly where your executable would be at. But I don't have to do that right now, so it should be fine. So we're going to go back to dashboard. Now, I didn't cover this in the last video, so what we're going to do is make sure that this Cemu 1.7.3 patch support is on. Make sure that's clicked on. Make sure store encrypted content is clicked off. Make sure full screen mode is clicked off. You don't really need it to be clicked on or clicked off, but I don't really care about full screen like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to, and I didn't mean to make that full screen, we're going to go down, and I'm going to show you which game, because it should be automatically loaded on to Cemu. We're going to show you which games are actually Breath of the Wild. So these are all Breath of the Wild, and we're going to modify, or not modify, but we're going to look at them from inside Notepad+. So as you can see, usually they would have the hashtag The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and it's going to have which version it is. This is important because you want to know which version of the game that you want before you apply your shader cache. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go see the number that's on the top, which is 005. And you see this little title ID right here that says 005. So what you want to do is, since we know that this is the title, we're going to copy that title number. We're going to Control V or paste, and there you should see the game right there. Now the game is ready to be pulled from MapleSeed 1. Currently right now MapleSeed 2 is fucking up, and a lot of people like using Wii U Helper. I'm not one of those people who like using Wii U Helper. However, I'm not going to knock anybody who would want to. I'm going to put it in the description. However, I will not tell you how to use it. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. I just don't like the simplicity too much so, because I don't know if it feels like somebody's watching or tracking it. That's just me. Or I just could be paranoid as fuck. That's just me as well. So we're going to just put that down. And as you see, we already have what we want. This is the UK version of, or excuse me, the EU version of Breath of the Wild. When you want to download this, all you have to do is go to plus title, and it will be ready to put this into your games folder, as you'll see it right there. I'm going to say no because I already have the game and I do not want to download it. However, what it's going to do is it's going to have a folder ready just in case you want to do so. So now that that's over and I've clicked that off, I'm going to look into my games, see that the folder's there, but it's empty and it's ready, such as it's just set a directory. We're going to delete that folder and we're going to put my actual Legend of Zelda back in. And that's from the actual disk itself. So we're going to click that off, go back into MapleSeed, and now I'm going to show you how to update your games. All right. Make sure to click on Breath of the Wild as soon as you have it into your system after the download. I know it's going to take a little bit of a download, so we're just going to go ahead and watch this as we start the actual updating process. All right, so now what you're going to do is you're going to go to the little V right here, delete the 0, and type 112. That is the current update for Cemu's Breath of the Wild. You're going to go ahead and press update, and it is going to give you the download patch content to the following location. And it's going to tell you exactly where the Cemu directory is, and it's going to go into the actual system files of the Cemu directory and not the actual game, which is fine because you don't really want it to do that. And you are going to press yes. It is going to load up the TM. It's going to partial the TM, and then it's going to load up the title with all of its content, which is 195. And I probably shouldn't have downloaded this, but I promise to do this in real time so that you guys can go ahead and see how the process will go. And it's going fairly fast, if I might say so myself. All right. The reason why I'm uploading this way, or excuse me, updating this way, is, as I said before, for some reason, and I don't know what changed within 6 months of the MapleSeed being almost unusable for some reason. I have no clue, but what I do know is it is messing up. It is not parsing out the content. At some point, I believe it's actually doing it so fast that it's actually skipping certain areas and content and overlapping. So I'm not going to recommend using 2 except for to set up your file folders and then going over to 1, which is much, much faster. Yeah, not bad. So as the download is going, and I think this is actually, hold on, I gotta get some water. Okay, that's way better. All right. As the download is going, it's going a lot faster than what I thought it was going to go. Now, let's talk keys while I have you here. Currently, it is illegal for me to give you keys. However, a lot of people are telling you that going to Google, you'll go ahead and find your keys, or you're going to go ahead and find whatever you need. And some people just don't want to do that. If you clicked on a video, I believe that if you clicked on it, you should be able to find out everything you want and everything you need. So I'm going to tell you, I am not giving you the keys. However, I've done some Google foo myself, and I will point you in the direction of where the keys are, and you can do with it what you will. But legally, I will say this, I am not giving you any of these keys. Or you could just go to my other video where I think somebody dropped theirs. Shameless plug is shamelessly shameless. All right, now back to Shadow of War. as I said before, it's a lot of the same. I like it. A lot of the same doesn't mean that it's going to be boring. I haven't been bored yet. I've seen there's a bunch of collectibles. There's also elven words to collect to, I'm guessing, open some sort of door. And the story so far is going as I expected. But yeah, every time I look at like the title screen, and you will see this, and I'll probably screenshot it or something and let you guys see it, or play a little bit with the NVIDIA Experience recorder and let you guys see it. But yeah, it's just weird that it's right there in front of your face, and it's right there in front of your face telling you, hey, you can get these crates if you go here. It's weird, and I hate that Monolith has to do this. I mean, and all in all, I'm going to be real honest, all in all, they're all guilty. But when I go back and I relook at the whole press conference that they did, and they were explaining the microtransactions, you can just look at the guys' faces and see that they were completely fucking dead inside. Like, there was no life at all for them to even fucking try and say, oh, well, yeah, it's great that you can go and just buy these orcs. Or you can go play the game, you know, the way it's supposed to be and get these orcs. But it's not really needed, but it you know, it speeds the game up. Oh man, the water is good. Anyway, any game, and this isn't the only game either, because Star Wars Battlefront is doing the same thing, but any game that is applying the free-to-play model of mobile games, and I knew this was going to happen because mobile games took the cake this year. Like, they are bigger than all of us. They're bigger than the consoles, which were smaller than PC until this year, until they banded together, which they became second now. So consoles are bigger than us right now, but don't worry, separate, they're not bigger than us. So, but mobile is completely eclipsing all of us, completely, and it's only getting bigger, and it's getting bigger simply because of microtransactions and a shit ton of fucking, oh, it's decrypting now, a shit ton of fucking half-made games. So let me just grab my phone. So there's half-made games, or games that go on for fucking ever, kind of like how Call of Duty's fucking zombies are. It's just made for you to fail. The only difference is they're making the game so that you don't fail completely. So there's this game called Two Dots, and I've been playing it for a while, but at some point I stopped and I just start scrolling up because I wanted to see if there's ever going to be an end to this game, because it would make sense that a game should have an end. I went over 1,200 levels and I still didn't see an end to the game. It's literally made that once your turns are over, that you probably want to invest some money or wait a day. Now, as people love gaming, some people don't want to play games when they're told they want to stop playing the games, when they feel that they want to stop playing the games. And that is one of the magics of mobile gaming. The magic is it gives you some games now. It gives you some games now, and then later on it makes you pay for the ability to progress. I'll be right back. All right. But yeah, it's just weird that AAA is now making you pay for the game and then making you pay to play the game. And if we have to be quite honest on how and why this is occurring, it's occurring because we have let the loot box and microtransaction culture go so far that even Nintendo is getting into the game. And they're not getting into the game swinging, they're getting into the game and trying to tell people that, hey, we're here for the customers. In reality, they just want to line their pockets as well. So, now that we're done with this, as the patch is done, we're going to go ahead and download the DLC. So what we're going to do is type in 48 in the V area, and we're going to hit DLC. And it's going to give you the same directory as before. You just press yes. Let it do its parsing. Get the title update. And then download as followed. And this one isn't so bad because it's because it is the DLC itself. But yeah, it's kind of shocking. It's surprising. And I knew that it was going to get bad when I saw that Mario Kart actually had DLC for Benz carts, like Mercedes-Benz carts, which is weird as hell to me. But, you know, whatever. It is what it is. I mean, Nintendo hasn't asked for much, and now they're asking for people to buy DLCs. We looked at that as, okay, that's fine. But then again, I kind of look back and ask, okay, Nintendo, what the fuck are these amiibos for then? Stop fucking making amiibos if you're going to fucking ask or double dip and ask for fucking DLCs to be bought. I mean, it's like Breath of the Wild. DLCs coming from the season pass. You're just looking at it like, okay, why? What the fuck is this for and why again? You're kind of ruining the game unless the DLCs are completely separate. And I've spent a lot of time playing Breath of the Wild and I've just kind of stopped, but I haven't seen that the DLCs are actually part of the game or needed to be in the game at all. So to me, Breath of the Wild isn't ruined because I can do everything without the DLCs. That's the purpose of DLCs. DLCs should always be something that you can do without, not something that should be intersnapped or already in, or content that's already in the game, because that's just weird. You should never want to do that at all. Or I'm just fucking old and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm just probably too old for this game anyway. But anyway, it's, again, another thing that's shocking to me is Nintendo asking people to pay for internet. But again, it's people in the times who are just, I guess, trying to keep up now. However, I hear the Switch is doing fucking fabulous right now, like super fucking good, and I hope it does. I just want them to change a lot of the stuff for the Switch. I want them to change the plastic. I want them to make either the Switch a little bit bigger or the Joy-Cons bigger or something. I want the plastic to be changed because I want to actually be able to paint the damn thing, you know, without the fucking plastic corroding or eating itself, which is weird. I never understood why the fuck that would happen. A little bit, I kind of want it to be a little bit bigger, as in I want the ventilation of the heat to be bigger as well, because I know it's got like one copper tube that stretches from one end to another end where it's heat sinking. And for what I know, that's also causing the base of the switch to curl slightly. They're calling it bend gate because it's bending, but those are real problems that need to be addressed, and they kind of still haven't addressed those problems at all. The only problem I know they addressed was the left Joy-Con desyncing, and what they did was they attached, what's it called, electrical foam, magnetic foam or something like that to the Joy-Con, which boosted the signal of the Joy-Con so it would stop desyncing. But again, I see that as kind of weird that they addressed one, but they haven't addressed the others, which probably would mean that they haven't really thought about or haven't experienced themselves. But to each his own. So as we see right now, the update is now finished, and we should be good to go. So there's only one thing left to do, and that is open Cemu and apply the shader cache. So we're going to go into shader cache. We're going to go into transferable, and these are your shader caches you're using. Now the one for Zelda is 2912EB2F. Now I'm going to have the 100% shader cache. I'm going to have that linked, and I'm going to teach you exactly how to transfer your shader cache if you didn't, if you quote unquote didn't sorry, I'm having issues. If you didn't do it beforehand, or if you haven't started playing at all, just go ahead and download this shader cache. Of course, it's always good for you to have your own. It's always good for you to make your own as well. But a lot of people don't want to do that per se. The difference between making your own shader cache and downloading another person's shader cache is a difference within frames and hitching. So a lot of people who are running smoother than others is because they have shader caches that they've built from the ground up. However, that doesn't mean that they haven't experienced hitching in the beginning, because you have to build that shader cache. But all right, let's go into the shader cache I have. We're going to copy. We're going to paste. And then what we're going to do is take the number of the shader cache before, copy the number, go into the shader cache we just placed in, and we're going to paste that new number in. So now that the shader cache will go directly with your game as well. And there is a way to find out what your shader cache is if you don't know. And I will show you that now, I guess, while we're here. So we're going to go in, Cemu, and we're going to, oh, wait a minute. Before we do that, we're going to go to properties off the executable. We're going to go to compatibility. We're going to make sure that these are all checked. They should be checked from your last one. If not, you can go ahead and check them again. Make sure you check on in compatibility to run as administrator. Disable full screen optimizations. And then override the DPI scaling behavior for this application. So the scaling for this application will go through as what you have per your options in Cemu itself. All right, now let's go in. And let's load the file up. And UKing is my file for Breath of the Wild. Let's see if it doesn't crash. Oh, doesn't crash. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually stop it. And we can just click off. And we can go down to log. Very important. As you go to log, you can actually see your stream, the file decryption. You can go ahead and see the string of code that's already here, then the loading of your file right here, and then you can also see your shader cache. So you have save directory and shader cache. Your save directory and your shader cache are always going to be the same number. So if you go into your manual saves, which is the MLC1, go into emulated saves. This is all your saves right here, including your PictoBooks and your trackers. Alright, nothing left to do except for turn on Cemu and continue downloading the shader cache, which is always slow the first time around. And I mean it is always slow the first time around. Now with this shader cache, you're able to go all the way up to 4K. Actually, I think beyond 4K if I looked at the packs right. And I'm not sure if there's going to be more to it. I believe it was supposed to be in 100% shader cache, but of course that's never going to truly happen because PCs are always going to go up further than what a lot of consoles do. So we always have higher overhead, basically. And that's not a knock towards the console, so please don't take it that way. I'm just speaking the truth. It doesn't matter what you like or how you like or what system you like playing on. It's always going to be the same system at some point. However, we all have our specialities. PC is superior because it has more. That's all. Again, you guys don't have to sit through freaking compiling shader caches like we do if you have a Switch or a Wii U. But the trade-off to that is we can run everything in 4K and basically have somewhat of a better time with frames depending on how we tweak our settings. Alright, as you can see, my version is the same, which is 1.3.1, and the DLC is 2.0 for right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and jump in, and I keep forgetting it's circle to jump in. We're going to jump in a autosave right now. I'm going to go to options, and I'm going to enable the speed hack. Or the fence skip, sorry. Try to hurry this along. Well, that's odd, seeing it go past 30. Let's see. Huh. Currently, I see my shadows are not. So I might want to actually put the other set of shadows in because I can actually see my shadows aren't exactly as solid as they were in the last update in Cemu. That's another thing about Cemu. Cemu always freaking changes no matter what happens. I think the next video I might actually do the 60 frames per second and the actual boosting, because currently right now I don't have it, but it might be a thing. Whoops, almost killed myself. I think this is the actual last place I was at with my last video. Haha, drowning in the juice. As you can see, everything transferred, and somehow I'm still at 34 frames per second. Weird. Alright, well, I am going to stop that. And now I actually want to see something, because not always, and I'm not knocking a lot of people who do these Cemu videos, but not everybody always has the same experience. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my saves I have right here, and I'm going to move them to, let's put them in the unzip file right quick. Yeah, there's nothing in there. I guess that's for the challenge or whatever. So I'm gonna move those right there. And the reason why I'm moving those right there, and I shouldn't have freaking took the Cemu off, is I want to see how it's going to start. So we're going to load, we're going to go in, and as you see, it's way faster now. Oh, and then, of course, NVIDIA wants you to go ahead and experience the overlay. Okay, so this is the start, and I want to see if there's a bug. I'm not going to put that on yet. I'm going to wait. Hmm. Well, doesn't look like I'm yeah, it doesn't look like I'm stuck. No, I think I actually will start over again. Ah, crap. I just realized. Sorry, guys. I kind of just realized there's no sound. Hopefully that'll work. That's right. I'm a real boy now. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and save that. I'm probably gonna change those buttons, by the way. And yeah. Well, as you can see, I'm not stuck. We are not having any issues. I didn't get a glitch for staying. Huh. I guess these are the DLCs. Anyway, I didn't get a glitch for staying on the staying into the, what's it called, the pool where it says open your eyes. I guess a lot of people might still be having that glitch, but I didn't get that glitch, even though I just took out my saves and restarted to see if I could. But aside from that, guys, that is it. See you guys later. You guys have a awesome day. And I am so sorry that I took so long to actually do this video, but I guess it's worth it right now since we hit all the bases. Let me know if anything is different. Let me know if there's anything you guys want to see or if there's any issues. I think the next video I might do is the switching of the buttons to PlayStation 4. But I don't know. Anyway, you guys take it easy and have a good evening.